Do you think that we should prescribe universal basic rights to human beings? So that's the right to life, liberty, personal autonomy, those kinds of rights, at the very bare least.
I do. When you started with the right to life, I suppose it depends. Being Irish, we have recently gone through Repeal the Eighth, and the right to life, I think, is based on people's moral opinion of when they believe the right to life starts.
Do you think that we should value human beings regardless of things like their gender, race, their...
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
First question is, do you believe in universal human rights?
Human rights, of course.
Yeah, so you believe that all humans should be treated fairly?
Of course.
Regardless of things like gender, race, that kind of thing?
Yes, I think we all of us, we should be equal.
And does that extend further to non-humans?
Non-humans.
So to animals? Yeah.
Of course. And I can tell you that I'm starting to think that I would like to become a vegetarian.
And do you think that we should discriminate or devalue lives based on their species?
Can I have an example, such as devalue life based on...
So if they're not human, but they are sentient, so
no,
animals.
Yes, no. Yeah. So no, I don't believe in devaluing the life of animals.
Yeah. So they deserve the right to life, to personal autonomy,
yes.
to liberty, to freedom, essentially.
To freedom, yes, yes. I suppose then, getting into the... Yeah, it's a personally, it's a tough one. I think if I go through examples, I was a vegetarian for a while and I'm not anymore.
So you went vegetarian for ethical reasons, did you?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I'm back eating meat, but I was a vegetarian, and I kind of sway. I can sway.
I know that all this process is like a chain. Like, okay, we can eat animals, but animals should be treated in a good way, even if we are gonna finish eating them.
So if we imagine, hypothetically, an animal that's had a wonderful life, all the space in the world, belly rubs every day, truly happy, do you think there's still an ethical issue with killing that animal?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah.
Would you agree then that, like animal rights are sort of like a logical extension of human rights? The rights of life, liberty and personal autonomy. Do you think that it logically extends from human rights? Or if it doesn't, just to give you help you thinking, if it doesn't, that would indicate that there is some difference between them and us that justifies the difference in treatment. So what would be that difference?
Big questions that I haven't thought about.
Right.
I don't know about the extension from human rights, because I think it then comes down to evolution and species in general. That if you look at animals in the animal kingdom, they also, forage and eat food, and I suppose then the difference between human beings and animals is conscious, that we are aware of the impact of what we do, I suppose. Okay. And also the awareness of repercussions, that if I do this, this will happen. I suppose that's what I mean by conscious.
Their ability to be able to work out the conclusions to things, that kind of thing. So that's kind of like ties into their kind of intelligence levels, would you say? Yeah.
So emotion, guilt and fear, and yes.
So okay, if we go with guilt and fear first, well, let's just go with guilt, say.
Yeah.
If that was true of human, let's say there were human beings that weren't capable of experiencing guilt, would that trait per se justify devaluing their life because they weren't able? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for intelligence, if they were less intelligent, if there's less intelligent human beings?
No. This is when, yes, it comes down to for me, no, I wouldn't. No, it doesn't devalue their life.
So I guess with any other ethical issue, and it could be anything from really things like thieving to very serious things like rape and murder, we'd say it's always wrong regardless of how it's done. So if we don't need to kill the animal, is it always wrong, regardless of how it's done and how the animal's life was before?
That's a difficult question.
Yeah, right.
It's a very difficult question.
You know, is there any differences between them and us? I mean, obviously we're completely different to animals. We do experience greater levels of well-being and consciousness and all these things. We can, I mean, just look all around us, like what we've created. You know, animals can't do that. So obviously they are definitely different to us. Are they so different from us that would mean that we should treat them differently? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do completely. Yeah.
It
definitely is something to think about.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I suppose that is why I did become a vegetarian, because when I think about it, that would be the route I would go down. And yeah, it would be that I believe that animals have rights as well, you know.
Okay, well let's do another hypothetical. Let's say I have an animal here in front of you.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a dog, and I got a knife out and I'm going to kill this dog
No, I
for
wouldn't
food.
let you to do that.
You stop me physically.
Yeah,
Okay.
if I need to punch your face, I will do it.
Yeah. So you think it's wrong, morally wrong?
Yes. Why are you gonna kill him?
Food.
No, not a
Right.
dog.
Because I don't need to. I could eat something else.
Yes.
Sure. Let's.
If you want to get proteins, you can have beans, lentils.
Of course, right. So it's unnecessary.
No, it's not necessary.
Now, what if it was a pig?
It's a pig.
Would you still try and stop me if it was a pig?
You're not gonna kill an animal in front of me.
Even
I
a pig?
don't mind if it's a pig, a cow, a fish, or whatever it is.
And would you say it's still unnecessary? Because I could eat something else, right?
Yeah, we're gonna steal something else.
So it's morally wrong. We don't need to do it. If I was to go behind a wall where you could no longer see me and kill that pig, would it still be morally wrong?
That question is tricky.
We and any animal, you know, drinks milk from their mother as children, because it's full of protein and things like that you know encourages you to grow, and then but we as humans continue to use dairy, and obviously the health implications that probably has on us as well, but also the industry that it causes, the dairy industry.
So you know about the dairy industry?
Yes.
No, I don't think I would let you kill the animal if I'm in the area.
Yeah. Let's say you're not in the area and I'm doing it where you can't see it.
It's what we are doing now.
Right, and is that wrong?
I'm buying pig, I'm buying pork, and I'm buying beef.
Sure.
And I don't see how they kill it.
Sure, but it's not always something we think about, right? But the pigs that you eat that are behind a wall where you can't see it, is the act of killing them still immoral? Same act, different place. Is it still wrong?
I think we shouldn't kill animals.
I mean, if you could be healthy and happy by eating a plant-based diet, would there be anything to stop you at this point?
I suppose the only thing is the food I would miss, but no, if I went down the moral grounds, no, there wouldn't be. Yeah.
So if you could discover, like, if you went to Tesco's and you knew about what to buy, like there's a plethora of vegan products that you can buy now, and if you knew about that, would you be up for trying it, at least for maybe?
Oh yeah, I would.
Doing like a challenge or something, just to see how you get on with it.
We don't need to eat them, and I know that I eat meat.
Yeah.
But I'm conscious that we don't need to eat meat to survive.
We don't need to.
No.
Yeah. And you see, the thing is, I was exactly the same as you.
Yeah.
I was against animal cruelty, but 3 times a day I was paying for them to die.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was a bad person. It wasn't because I wanted them to suffer. It's just because we don't think about it, right?
We don't think about it.
We grow up eating these foods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, I totally agree with you. I pay for killing those animals. Because I want to eat them.
Yeah. And do you agree that because the industry works on supply and demand, whenever we buy a product, we're voting with our money?
Yeah.
So whenever we buy, say, pork, pigs, we are voting for them to produce more, and therefore more animals are killed,
yes,
right?
Of course. If we keep buying meat, they are going to carry on killing animals. And if today I buy 2 trays of pork, and she buy another 2 and another 2 and another 2, and tomorrow I want 3 and she wants 3 and she wants 3, we are gonna make the big companies carry on killing the animals. I know that.
Sure.
I really like the comedian Sarah Pascoe, and I was reading something about her, and then I was like, oh, she's vegan. And then I was just reading a piece on her website about it, and it just kind of brings me back to, I suppose, if I consciously think about it.
It's not really in the forefront of our minds on a day-to-day basis, because we're bombarded with all this advertising, you know, like McDonald's and all these adverts, dairy and everything like this.
Yeah, exactly.
And also we're raised and we're conditioned in a way by our parents. They don't really mean to, but we're conditioned in a way that we think that it's okay and acceptable to eat animal products. We've known it since we were born, you know, so it's completely understandable that we wouldn't really think about it.
Of course, no, definitely. And like, I know when I was vegetarian, I became a much better cook.
Yeah, so what would be stopping you from cutting these foods out and going towards veganism?
Veganism? I couldn't be veganism. So, because I love cheese and I love eggs.
Yeah.
But it is true that I try to buy organic eggs and those things because I want to think that the animals are treated better.
So, I don't know if you're aware, but in the egg industry, when they're breeding the chickens, they only need the females, the hens, because they're the ones that lay the eggs. Yeah. So they dispose of the male chicks. They don't need them. So they can be ground up alive while they're fully conscious. In the dairy industry, they separate the babies from their mothers because the calf wants to drink the mother's milk and we want it. Yeah, and all of the animals in the dairy and egg industry, they all end up killed, just like the ones, like the pigs bred for meat. Yeah. So you said you like the taste of cheese, you like the taste of eggs, just like I did, but you also said you're against animal cruelty.
Yeah, it's part of the animal's cruelty,
sure.
I know that.
So which do you value more about yourself? What do you value higher? Do you value getting taste pleasure, or do you value being against animal cruelty? Which is more important to you? If you imagine that you're at the end of your life and you're looking back on the life you've lived, what would you wish you'd have chosen? Trying to stop the animal cruelty or getting taste pleasure?
I think being against animal cruelty.
Sure, yeah.
This interview is gonna change my life. You know that. You know that I'm gonna go home with different thoughts.